Welcome to the Nomadic Delight podcast. Join me, your nomad consultant, for this episode as I interview Thoraya Abdullahi, a social media executive living and working in Dubai. Now, social media plays an important role in today's global world, and I was lucky to have Thoraya on the show to give her unique perspective on this. If you enjoyed today's show, spread the love by sharing it with your friends. Also, make sure you never miss an episode by subscribing to our show on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Peace and love. Okay guys, today on Nomadic Delight, my guest is Thoraya Abdullahi, a young professional woman working and living in Dubai. She currently works as a social media executive at Forbes Middle East, which is a global media company. Welcome to Nomadic Delights, Thoraya, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's all good. It's my pleasure. The pleasure is mine. Okay. Well, first of all, this podcast, the reason why I wanted to have this podcast with you is because I want to talk about the impact of social media from a personal and business perspective. Now, for me, I use social media heavily for my business activities, and that's not really that much from a personal perspective. So when I found out that you were available, I jumped at the chance to interview you because it would be great to have an opinion of a social media guru like yourself. Okay. However, before we dive into that topic, for my followers, please tell me a bit about yourself, specifically where you grew up and what was your education journey like.
So my name is Thoraya, obviously, as you said in the beginning. I'm 25 years old. Hopefully I'll turn 26, inshallah, in 1 month, I think.
Oh, wow.
And exactly, I'm growing old. But yeah, I was born and raised in the UAE, been here all my life. I think I've traveled twice before, once to Egypt by myself. That was my first trip ever.
Wow.
And then I went to Somalia back in 2008, which I don't remember anything of it.
Oh, where in Somalia? Was it Mogadishu you went or was it Hargeisa?
No. I went to Hargeisa.
So Somaliland. Okay, yeah, my bad. Continue. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, all right. Somaliland. Yeah, I went to Somaliland, I think 2008, think around that time. And that was the last time I've been to Somaliland. I was about to say Somalia. Somaliland.
Sweet.
Exactly. So that's about it. And then I did high school here. Been here all my life, of course. Then I started uni in Middlesex University, which is a British university based in the UAE.
Okay.
So I studied accounting and finance first, and then I did masters in marketing.
Nice. Wow. That's really impressive. I mean, the fact that you did a degree and a master, so that's how they say, really impressive. And then the other thing I was going to ask you then, okay, so you've been to Egypt before. So how was Egypt? Was it really nice? I know you don't recall Somaliland, but Egypt. I mean, because that's I can ask that question because that's my old hometown, but yeah.
Qahira, yes. Yeah. I remember. So the thing is, in Egypt, like I've never left UAE before, right?
Okay.
So to go to a different continent and for them to be branding everything with Africa, the biggest business in Africa, something, the pearl of Africa. These are an example that I'm giving. It was a very unique experience, and especially in Arab country. Of course, I am in an Arab country now, but an Arab country based in Africa, it was so different. The people are very nice there. Everything here, we're very multinational, right? You will see different nationalities in different sectors, different industries. But in Egypt, everybody was Egyptian.
That's right.
Like everyone you talk to, everyone that drives you, that does everything for you is an Egyptian. So that was a unique experience for me.
Nice.
And that was the only thing. Yeah. Thank you.
That's all good. No, honestly, thanks for that. And I'm good to hear you've actually had a good experience for Egypt. I mean, like that one day I'll tell you the escapades. But anyway, back to you. Okay, so now here's the thing. Now, the fact that you actually did a business degree, which is also really impressive. Why did you choose to do a master's in marketing? I mean, so you did a degree in business and then you chose marketing. Is it because you like marketing? What was the reason for that?
So the thing is, I did accounting and finance because before that, I actually wanted to do psychology. I was interested in psychology and everything. But my dad was like, you have to, like, there's no job opportunities in Dubai when it comes to psychology. So you have to think of your future. You have to think of something you can easily find, a job. Yeah. So I thought, and I looked at everything in the university and I said, you know what? I wasn't great in math. Let me try to challenge myself.
Wow.
So I did accounting and finance. I did that for 3 years. And then I switched. I got bored of it. I easily get bored. So I said, you know what? I want to know every little thing about business, So I jumped on marketing. That's why I did masters in marketing. And also
nice.
when you're going around, right, you will see brands, you will see the way people advertise themselves, but you don't know what they mean. And every little branding and every little advertising on a car or a billboard has a meaning to it. So that was what fascinated me to actually start studying start majoring in marketing. So yeah, and then that's when I started my journey in marketing for 1 year, masters, and then I was done. And then now I'm in social media.
Well, no, it's good because I was actually going to ask you because here in the UK, and this is why honestly, enough respect, hats off here. It's impressive. A degree and a master's. A lot of people here in the UK, especially, they do a degree, that's it. They've ticked the box. They don't need to do any more education. Only people who do masters are people who are forced into it, like they're part of their placement or either as part of the work requirement. Now, putting that aside, years ago it used to be free education, and then now they actually have where you pay and then the government lends you the money and interest. We'll talk about interest for a different day, but the fact is at least students can still get a loan. They have to pay back. Yeah. Now, in the UAE, I know university is not for everyone. So how were you able to overcome this challenge, honestly? Respect to Raya.
So have you heard of the title that says, not a title, I think it's a saying that says, Dubai dabbar nafsik. So you have to take care of yourself in Dubai. So what we did is my mom, alhamdulillah, been raised by a single mother. And she did everything. Like she literally made a name out of herself coming from nothing, and now she made it. Literally, she's the definition of started from the bottom and now we're here, right?
For real.
Exactly. So my mom, alhamdulillah, made me go through school. She paid for my university. I mean, in Dubai, like coming, especially as an expat, like there's no governmental help.
Yes. Yeah.
Right?
No, it's impressive.
Everything by myself. Yes.
And not only that, because the fact that you actually went to Middlesex University, it doesn't mean you're paying UAE university fees. It's the same price as in the UK. So that is really, how they say, hats off to your mom. So and now the duty you need to actually do to pay her back, inshallah, you'll do that. But now let's come back to you. So I understood the whole history about and get into marketing and how the world of branding impacts everything. But then what led you to become a social media professional? Because marketing is huge. Why did you choose social media?
Social media, like in my age, right? Like I started, Facebook was a thing, I think from 2008 or 9, right? When I was in school. Yeah. And I wasn't big, like I wasn't into social media until like late 2011 or 12. That's when I started my Instagram page.
Okay.
And then it became like a fun thing that you do on your free time. So I was using, and then one day, I think a friend of mine came to me and said, you know what, there's jobs like now for social media people, like, would you like to join? And then I said, wow, that's very nice. You can make your hobby into a career, right?
Nice.
So then I started looking for social media roles, and now I'm a social media executive.
MashaAllah. Honestly, no, hats off to you. I mean, okay, it's good you've touched upon the Instagram, because this podcast is about social media from a personal and business perspective. And like I mentioned earlier, I use it for business. I keep the personal to a certain limit, just for family and friends, to keep up to date where I am at, But then the fact that you were able to kind of use your background skills and the fact you have Instagram back then, which is, I'm sure you are the original trendsetters back then, and to actually use it into your business. So if you were to advise, let's imagine I'm an 18-year-old girl or boy, and I come to you and I said, hey, Thoraya, I want to become a social media professional. What advice would you give me? I mean, what do I need to do to enter this world?
so kids nowadays they're very digital, right? So especially 18-year-olds now, they're all over TikTok. They're dancing, they're doing challenges, right?
That's right.
So it's very difficult to give a person who's already born in the digital era to say that these are the skills that you should have. They already have the skills. They were already born with these skills, right? You just have to be quick. You just have to be in love with trends. Especially being in the social media industry, right? It's like, I know as when you have let's say an Instagram page, that means you're interested. Like you create your audience, you create the people that you interact with, you create your followers, right? It depends on what you like, right? So you have to be quick with the trends. You have to make sure that despite being in different platforms with specific audience or followers, you have to make sure that you get the trend in any sector or industry, whether it's from in Instagram and you want an accounting advice or tips, or you're on LinkedIn and you're looking for celebrities. It's all about paying attention to trends.
It's you know what, that's actually something that I didn't realize, because it's true, a lot of these people do have the skills, but then here's the question I have: do they need to do any kind of formal education, or do they need to just simply learn how to survive in the workplace? Because the way you talk to your boys or your friends are different to you being in the professional workplace, because you're now like you said, an executive. So is there anything you advise for them besides the digital skills that they already have, and they have to understand branding, understand their followers? Do they need to do anything different in the world of work, or is just being a social media person already enough?
So this is what I believe in, right? If you want to actually do something in life, there's no point for you to actually study. You will study out of your own, out of you feeling you want to do this and you want to major in this, you want to have a career in this. You can make that out of yourself without seeking an actual education or a degree or a master's or a bachelor's, right? So I think when it comes to social media, unless and until you have the interest and passion for it, there's no need for a degree as of now, right? Now, when it comes to the second question that you asked me, when it comes to interacting with people, now brands have forcefully made themselves digital because of the coronavirus now, right? So now social media was a young thing before. It was for the youngsters, it was for the youth, it was for them to talk to friends. Brands have taken that and actually targeted people of their own through social media. Now the question is, are you able to make yourself professional using social media? Do you think you can get out of that young mindset of you talking to your friends in an informal way and making yourself very formal to be professional when it comes to talking to your audience, your customers, your clients through social media? And that's the only skill that's very important when it comes to working for brands through social media.
Nice. Honestly, you know what? That's some really good advice there, because if people are not able to bridge that gap, then they will always suffer. But no, that's spot on. I appreciate that advice, Thoraya. Okay, now you as a person, I know besides your ability to speak Somali, Arabic, and English fluently, so respect to that. I mean, what unique skill do you believe has helped you become successful in this industry? I'm again putting this whole aspect of a young professional woman in Dubai. You work in social media, but what do you believe has made you successful? What unique skill? Or if you have more than one, by all means, let me know.
The thing is, it's just the ability to catch on to things, to pay attention to small details. There's no specific skill. It's all about the interest. It's all about, are you in love with actually following up with people? Are you in love with taking care of people, your followers, your audience? Do you like to communicate with people? Do you want to show the world what you're doing or what's going on with your life? So if you have the passion and interest for that, I think that's more than enough. You don't need a specific skill or a unique skill to be successful in the social media industry.
Nice. No, I think you've hit the nail on the head, because if you love what you do, money will always come. So I think there's a lot of people out there, unfortunately, in this world we live in, and I think they're going to probably reflect now with this whole COVID-19 about their jobs, but they're just doing a job just to pay the bills. But like you said, if you love what you're doing, money will eventually come. So that's something that's rare, you know, where you can wake up in the morning and you're excited to get to work. So that's impressive. No, good. In your previous question, you mentioned about people and how to understand. Now, I've been itching to ask you from the beginning of the podcast, but I'm like, I decided to hold on till now. Now, I know you cannot spill beans, but in your line of work, you come across famous celebrities and influencers. Please tell me, who was your favorite one and why?
So when it comes to meeting famous people, especially because I cover fashion and beauty sector in the publishing house that I work for, I met Halima Aden, who is an American fashion model, right? Okay. And she was first known to be the first woman to wear a hijabi in a pageant, right? Wow. And in the first Somali hijabi women to wear a burkini. So that was a big thing, and of course I'm going to always represent my Somalis out there.
That's right.
And I actually met her in the Egypt trip that was my first trip that I went on by myself. Oh yeah. And I met her in Egypt in a conference. It was amazing. Wow. And yeah.
Oh, that's no, honestly, that's actually a good choice. So I mean, you didn't have that situation where some people, they go, you don't meet your heroes. Was she nice when you met her then?
She was sweet. Like I don't know how to explain it. She was out of this world. I did not expect her to be like that. And when I first saw her, I was like, Halima, I could not believe it myself. She looked at me, she did not even know who I was. And she came to hug me. I was happy for that. I was happy.
Honestly, enough respect. Big shout out to Halima, and I'm also happy to hear what she's doing as well, not only for the Islamic community but for the Somali community. So enough respect. I think that's a good choice from a favorite celebrity you've come across. Okay, now I'm going to come back to the world of social media. Now here in the UK, we are dealing with some headaches like Brexit and COVID-19, which the whole world is dealing with. Okay, now thanks to my previous interview with Gele, I know the UAE has been successful in dealing with COVID-19 and they've delayed the Expo 20. But what I want to understand from you, and to kind of learn more from a social media perspective, has there been a negative impact on your industry, or have you guys been able to maximize this opportunity as more people are now at home and using your content to keep entertained? I mean, what's been the impact from a social media perspective?
So because of this pandemic, every industry will face a negative impact, right? And it's important to know how to get out of that and to take this as a challenge and what new ways can you come up with. And since it's in the publishing industry, right, it's very easy for them to digitalize their content.
Nice.
So we were able to digitalize all our magazines, the stories and everything. So we're focused more on social media now. And it was easy for us compared to other companies, right? It was easy for us to say, because we were already there online. We just had to focus and leave the print out and just focus on our digital content and pushed more on our digital content, produce more stories, make sure we reach people at home, create certain hashtags, create certain campaigns to support, to stand with the frontline workers. So it's always negative, right? But because of the coronavirus, it's negative everywhere. Correct. However, it's always about how will you get out of it stronger.
Nice. No, I think that's a really good thing that Forbes are doing, like you said, and it's like you said, you guys already were digital, but now you're focusing more the resources on that. So that's actually good. I mean, a lot of people have said that people who've actually used cloud or actually gone online are going to come out of this stronger. But then now, my final question before I'll leave you in peace, because I appreciate it. By the time we've been recording this, we're still in Ramadan. But the question I'd like to ask is that there are people out there who kind of they champion the world of social media. And I'm gonna quote one guy that I actually use as a reference, Gary Vee, and he basically says just post for the sake of posting. And for me, it's a limit of like personal and business. You've been able to successfully move from your personal world to the world of business. So you're using the same skills you had as a Instagrammer to work in social media. Do you believe the future of social media is here to stay, or will there be a new fad and people will just start going back to kind of the way things were? What I know you can't guess the future, but what would you think the way things are going?
I think this is the new normal. Like, this is the way forever, right? It's going to be like this. I do not think people will actually go back to their offices and like start printing normal magazines or newspapers, right? It's going to be digital forever from here onwards, right? So it's all about strategizing your content, using the correct tactics. What community are you engaging with? Are you creative as well? Are you writing the right captions? Are you using the right hashtags? So I do not think that social media is just a phase that we're going through. We're all digitally transforming, and we have always been hearing about digital transformation even before but this pandemic was a thing.
Yep,
right?
That's true. That's
so
true.
I think now we're forced to actually digitally transform, and everyone is forcefully, whether if you want to survive in this game, you have to digitally transform. And I think this is the future. We're in the future, we're living it, and it's going to be like this forever.
Nice. Honestly, that's a really good way to answer that, and I appreciate your perspective. And first of all, I also want to thank you again, taking time from your busy schedule to actually sit down and talk with me on the world of social media. And I also want to give a big shout out to Ray. You're my first female guest, and I'm hope to have future more. But you've honestly been a good inspiration. Thanks for that. But before I sign off, Thoraya, is there anything else you'd like to add or mention that I have not covered?
I think we covered pretty much everything. I'm hungry. I need to go eat.
No, honestly, it has been a pleasure. And I just want to say thanks again. And thanks for actually being a trendsetter in the world of social media. And until the next time, I'll leave you to it. All right?
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All the best. Take care. Peace and love. Well, that's all, folks. Thank you for listening to my podcast, which is simply the reflections of a nomad consultant living life on a day-by-day basis. I just want to conclude by saying I appreciate the love and support you guys are showing me. Until the next time, peace and love.